Welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing our journey recapping the mainline Transformers games with Transformers Fall of Cybertron, which came out right after War for Cybertron, so if you want to be fully caught up with the plot, be sure to watch that recap video first, but anyways, here we are. At this point, the War for Cybertron has reached its breaking point, and the planet itself is officially dying. After millions of years of conflict, the core has shut down due to the corruption of Dark Energon, leaving the Transformers with a world that can no longer sustain life. The Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, are preparing for a massive exodus, building a great ship called the Ark to carry the survivors into the stars. But the Decepticons are not about to let them leave peacefully. This is the story of Transformers, Fall of Cybertron, a journey that chronicles the final 6 days of a mechanical civilization as it collapses into total darkness. The game begins right at the end of the timeline as the Ark makes its final departure from Cybertron. You take control of the Scout Bumblebee as the Decepticon flagship. The Nemesis ambushes the Autobots in orbit. The ship is a chaotic war zone, and Bumblebee is tasked with fixing the ship's internal defense systems while Decepticon boarding parties swarm the decks. The situation becomes dire as Megatron himself boards the ship and corners Optimus Prime on the outer hull. In a desperate act of loyalty, Bumblebee jumps in front of a lethal blast intended for Optimus, falling into a critical stasis lock as the prologue comes to a shocking conclusion. The story then jumps back 6 days to the final siege of the Autobot capital city Iechen. The Autobots are in a desperate state, low on fuel and under constant bombardment from Decepticon warp cannons. Optimus Prime moves through the ruins of the city, coordinating with warriors like Warpath and Ratchet to stabilize their defenses. In a last-ditch effort to save the Ark, Optimus awakens an ancient legend, Metroplex, a city-sized Autobot Titan. Under your command, Metroplex provides massive orbital strikes that decimate the Decepticon artillery. However, the victory is short-lived. A warp cannon manages to disable Metroplex, and Optimus is captured by Starscream, Brawl, and Onslaught. Just as Megatron prepares to execute Optimus in the Decepticon throne room, Metroplex reactivates, rips the roof off the building, and repeatedly smashes Megatron into the ground, seemingly killing him. With Megatron gone, Starscream immediately declares himself the new leader of the Decepticons, while the Autobots remain stranded on a planet with almost no energon left to power their escape. With the capital in ruins, Optimus sends Jazz and Cliffjumper to a desolate region known as the Sea of Rust. Their mission is to find the missing Lightning Strike Coalition, a team of warriors led by Grimlock who disappeared while investigating strange readings. Navigating through the rust-choked ruins of ancient Cybertronian civilizations, the duo discovers an ancient tomb containing a star map that points toward a distant, resource-rich planet called Earth. They also find a massive Decepticon facility where the scientist Shockwave is mining a giant lake of raw energon to power an ancient space bridge. Realizing this fuel is the Autobots' last hope, Cliffjumper overloads the facility's refinery, causing a massive explosion that allows the Autobots to begin salvaging the energon to load onto a massive land transport. As the Autobots try to move this new fuel back to the Ark, the Decepticons launch a multi-stage ambush. Under Starscream's incompetent command, the Combaticons are sent to stop the transport. You first take control of Vortex, who sabotages the transport's flight path and disables its energy shields. Then, as Swindle, you destroy the transport's massive wheel struts to force it into a canyon. The transport eventually takes to the air in an emergency flight mode, prompting Starscream to order a retreat. Ignoring him, the 5 Combaticons merge into the Titanic Bruticus. As this massive gestalt, you tear through the transport's defenses and cause it to crash land. While the mission is a success, half of the energon is destroyed in the fire. Starscream is furious at their insubordination and orders the Combaticons arrested, highlighting the growing fractures within the Decepticon ranks. While Starscream prepares for a grand coronation in the capital of Kaon, Soundwave works in the shadows to restore the true leader. Using salvaged parts and a fresh infusion of energon, Soundwave resurrects Megatron in a new, more powerful body. Megatron immediately storms the coronation, blasting Starscream into exile and reclaiming his throne. Realizing they need a ship to pursue the Ark, Megatron leads an assault on an Autobot factory to retrieve the remains of Trypticon, the Titan who fell in the previous game. Megatron initiates the Nemesis Protocol, permanently and painfully reformatting Trypticon's body into the massive warship Nemesis. He views this as a punishment for Trypticon's past failures, showing his cold and ruthless pragmatism. Story then shifts to find out what happened to Grimlock. Following his exile, Starscream infiltrates Shockwave's tower lab to find a weapon to use against Megatron, accidentally releasing Grimlock in the process. Playing as Grimlock, you fight through the facility with a sword and shield, discovering audio logs that reveal a horrific truth. Shockwave captured Grimlock's team in the Sea of Rust and reformatted them into the Dinobots, basing their new forms on prehistoric creatures he saw through the space bridge. Driven by a primal rage, Grimlock transforms into a robotic T-Rex for the first time, incinerating the lab and rescuing his teammates, Swoop, Slug, and Snarl. Grimlock reaches the space bridge tower and destroys it, creating a massive explosion that ensures the Decepticons cannot easily use the portal to reach Earth, even if it leaves the Dinobots' fate uncertain. Everything leads back to the present day for the final orbital battle. The Ark and the Nemesis are locked in a desperate struggle as they approach the space bridge portal. The perspective shifts rapidly between characters. Soundwave sabotages the Ark's cannons, Jetfire flies through space to destroy the Nemesis's tow cables, and Jazz battles Bruticus on the outer hull of the ship. Finally, the two leaders, Optimus Prime and Megatron, meet for a brutal final duel on the hull of the Ark as the ships are pulled into the unstable portal. Realizing the Ark lacks the energy to survive the trip, the Titan Metroplex makes the ultimate sacrifice, transferring his remaining spark energy to fuel the ship. As he goes offline, his final words are "Till all are one." The ships disappear into the void as Cybertron goes completely dark, leaving the future of the Transformers to be continued on a far-off world called Earth. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.